Hello and welcome to this video. I'm actually very jacked on sugar right now and I feel horrible. I feel so rushy and I just cannot catch up with myself and my eyes are getting swollen. Oh, it's just so annoying. But I got a new camera and I really actually want to try it out because it was embarrassing to record on my webcam. So here it is, and look how crispy it looks and how wonderful, and all the zoom. It's been a while since I've been in front of a camera. Oh, it's so scary. I feel like I own the scene, like I can't. Like I am in the scene even. Actually, I do not have a good microphone, so you will have to deal with a bit of a lesser quality of audio, but it is what it is for now. Chances are that you are rushing, and chances are that people next to you are rushing, and chances are that you or they do not even actually notice, because if there is anything if there is anything our world does, loves, and lives by and stands by and doesn't even notice the amount of damage that it does, it's actually rushing. I've been noticing this theme come up in my life lately, of just catching myself being in a constant rush, never actually present, never actually there and now, but always thinking about the next thing and about the next thing. And when I'm doing one thing, already thinking about what I'm going to be doing next. And it has such a feeling of living on the surface. And of course, if there's one thing we are very good at in this society, is living on the surface. And it most of the time it just feels like uphill battle to try and live slowly, to try and, be present, while everyone around you literally just jacks themselves up on coffee, or cigarettes or sugar, or, all these usual starchy kind of foods which give you a sugar rush and you just can't continue going, despite the fact that deep down you're actually tired and you are overworking, like overclocking your body pretty much, and I find that so worthy of discussion, because we need to stop. This is honestly just destroying us. And of course, we don't see among many other things that we don't see that are destroying us. But for this video, the topic is specifically rush. And rushy myself I am, because I jacked myself on sugar, as one does when one is anxious and one just goes like, I know this is bad for me, but god damn it, I will eat it. And so eat it I did. And now it's even hard for me to focus on what the hell am I talking about, or at least hard to stay in line with my stream of consciousness, because, to channel or to kind of translate these topics or energies, one really requires kind of a clear state of the body. Otherwise, it's just all muddled. And it just speaks volumes about how difficult it honestly is to live according to your own rules and according to your own pace, in society that pretty much feeds from disease and has fear as its currency. And the question is why? Like, why do we do this? Why do we, as people, individuals, societies, whatever, are so compelled to just rush forward and just stay on the surface? Do we not actually know that other things exist below the surface? Or do we not care? Or are we just stupid? Or are we just programmed this way? Like, what is it? Why are we this way? And actually, I don't know. I just know that one thing that we people like is comfort. And I feel like there's one thing that is probably more uncomfortable than all the diseases, all the, rush, workaholism, everything that modern society likes, the hustle culture, whatever. And then one thing is actually depth and ourselves. Oh, yeah, we do that, don't we? We run from ourselves like our life depends on it, but we actually do not see that us running from ourselves is literally what ends up killing us or destroying us slowly, because it's just so slow. We got so comfortable rushing forward that we do not notice that that is absolutely destroying us. Who said that? I don't remember, but you can boil a frog slowly and it's not gonna notice up until it's dead. And that is exactly what it is. But again, once again, why? Well, I think it's because we love to avoid feelings, and as society and throughout history, we have not figured out how to deal with feelings. And the second, we slow down, we feel all this unsolved, unresolved, all these philosophical questions. It makes us feel unstable, way more unstable than whatever surface interactions or, you know, unawakened life, if you will, that we might be leading. And feelings are scary and we don't know how to deal with them. And it makes us feel vulnerable and question our reality. And oh my God, is this person that I married? Is this the correct person? Is my job right? Does this make me happy? In a way, ignorance is bliss, because that process, that process of pausing, of disconnecting from the matrix, if you will, is horrifying. And it actually rightfully is so, because it has the capacity to destroy your life, because it's like you turn your consciousness on and all of a sudden you have control. And it's a weird paradox, right? Because through this questioning we will feel powerless, but then at the same time more powerful, knowing that we have all these choices and we can make them. I guess that comes after the initial stage of powerlessness, then this empowerment. But for many of us, this is so scary, and this responsibility for our life is so horrifying that it's so tempting to just go back into the comfort of eating sugar, just like I did today. I guess that does make sense. It makes sense why we avoid it so much if I look at it through this lens. But is it actually that simple? Well, no, it just sounds simple. It just sounds simple when I say and talk about it on camera, but it doesn't happen to people because it's actually incredibly hard. And it's so much easier to not think and just go with the flow and go, with whatever the rest of society is doing. And rush keeps us safe in a way, because it's one giant tool to belong and fit in. It's like there's safety in being like everyone else. There is safety in drinking in bars, with 3 dozen other people. There's safety in, partaking in whatever unhealthy lifestyles, life choices. There's safety in staying in marriages that do not work. There's safety in not questioning. There's safety in, being in denial that, I'll make it work, or it's not that bad, all of that, because we look around the world, right? And that's exactly what everyone else is doing. So your situation might not be working, right? But it's so much scarier to even admit that it's not working, because then all these feelings of shame and feeling wrong, and so you just eat more sugar. And oftentimes it takes such a great deal of pain, actually, for people to, well, as we say in spiritual communities, to awaken. And there's a gift in that. And I wish, honestly, I wish we could do that, I wish it was so easy that just you watch one interview on YouTube or something like that, and, and you're like, wow, I'm inspired. I'm going to turn my whole life around, and it happens, but it happens so rarely. And most of the time, we need to be in such tremendous pain to make a change, to be like, fuck, I am actually killing myself slowly. It's so funny because it's like we only notice that we are killing ourselves if we actually like get slapped across the face very hard. But if it's just like slow taps all the time, then we're just like, that's okay, whatever. It's not that bad. Oh, the love of comfort that we as people have. Did we forget what it's like to actually, survive? And I'm talking, I guess, about the people in the developed world, because there are still people who are in very different situations and are surviving. They are a bit of a different category. I'm talking more about the comfortable first world individual, and how we have gotten so placated by all the tiny little dopamine rushes, whether from doom scrolling or whatever, sugar or anything else, that we don't know what actual survival feels like. We don't know ourselves. We are just existing. I would say that's very feminine, and most of us just exist, but oh, but if I'm not being in denial, honestly, we are not existing fully. We are just existing in this empty void that no one actually sees, including ourselves. And we have nothing to compare our existence to, because no one has ever put us into real challenges. No one has ever guided us properly. And so we've been failed by the world and just sitting here by default, knowing nothing but the fastness and the rush and the toxicity of this world. Oh, that makes me so sad. It's an empty existence, void of any color or texture or feeling. And the closest we get is to just feeling like we are a failure and we are inadequate. And oh God. And so it's like we require this bravery to slow down. I never thought I'd be saying this, that we require bravery to slow down, because how many of us call ourselves lazy, but as a society, to just pause. And it's so hard. It's so hard to just pause for a second, to reflect, to let yourself feel anything that would make you feel alive, even. Because we are walking through life in this half-dead state, the state of never reaching into who we are, never knowing ourselves, never even encountering situations that would make us really deeply understand something about us. But we are so much more than that. It's like we have almost forgotten what it's like to be human, what it's like to be a full expression of a person, what it's like to feel things to extreme degrees, and what it's like to, touch the earth and feel the mud on your fingers, like these basic things. And you start only appreciating these things, once you have something to compare it to, once you have numbness to compare it to. And I guess, well, that maybe makes sense why we are, as a world, manifesting pretty horrid scenarios for ourselves in the future, because that is gonna give us so much context as to who we are and what we want, which right now we are too scared to look at. Make us understand that we are so much more than these powerless cogs in the machine, and especially individually, because so many times people go like, well, I have no power over these, governments or whatever. And it's like, so all I can do is just keep my head down and do my work or whatever and stay in my bubble, which I also feel like there's some good things to this, but it's also a bit of a toxic mentality, because you are staying in your powerlessness, feeling like you cannot change anything. And that is really not true. And because in a way we are, just resigning our power to other people, the power of our choices, and just, being so scared of whatever inside ourselves that we have. And for one reason or the other, we let, those people who recognize that in a good way or a bad way, actually, to reign supreme. And they do. They do, because no one shows them anything any other way. No one introduces them to any other energy. No one stands up for themselves because they don't know themselves. And that is gonna change. And that is changing. And my hope, I guess, my hope is that we really stop being afraid of ourselves and, this rush, this like spinning in a wheel, rat in a wheel pretty much, and have just the bravery to just pause the wheel, not necessarily climb off of it, just pause and realize that, oh, I am standing on a wheel right now. What color is the wheel? Has it always been this color? Who started spinning it? Did I get on it voluntarily? Or, was I put on it? Oh, wait a minute. These bars on this wheel, are actually really hurting my feet as I'm running. This is where the power begins. This is where you realize that, oh, you exist. You exist independently. And then you can decide what to do with that yourself.